Hey yo guys, welcome to volume 2 baby of Down in the Squared Circle with the Dirty White Boy. Anyway, this is my wrestling news show and thanks to NoDQ.com for posting these. I love NoDQ.com. Now let's go, we're going to start with TNA for a bit. The first thing I want to talk about in TNA is the future of Austin Starr. Now, Austin Starr has not been in the good books with TNA ever since FanFest, ever since for a while, but really things have gotten bad since FanFest of Lockdown. Apparently, the Austin Starr, or Austin Aries as he's known in Ring of Honor, was seen wearing his Ring of Honor t-shirt, which didn't sit well with Dixie Carter and also Jeff Jarrett. And then it boiled over because of his bad attitude backstage, which is bad for Austin Starr because TNA had something with... It's bad for Austin Starr getting taken off, considering TNA also took away Ring of Honor and Pro Wrestling Guerrilla from any of their talent. It's also bad for TNA because they had a great thing going with him and Senshi and also Bob Backlund. So TNA lose a storyline which was actually intriguing to the most part. The matches wise, I mean, the Bob Backlund thing with him wasn't good, but it gave him something to do and show off his awesome talents. Also, for Austin Starr, reports are stating that he wants to be released, and it doesn't seem that TNA will grant him that wish. And he's been, even though he's been suspended 90 days, which is a bad thing for TNA to do, because they could have at least put him in squash matches or something, or I don't know. I wouldn't have suspended him for 90 days, maybe like 30. I think 90 is a little too harsh just for bad attitude. But whatever, I'm not running TNA. The next thing in TNA I want to talk about is probably the dumbest thing that TNA has done since ever. TNA has no longer allowed their superstar, or their wrestlers, not going to say superstars, to work for Ring of Honor or PWG. Now, with Ring of Honor, it was definitely obviously going to come since Ring of Honor announced their pay-per-view. But for PWG, it's bad, so it's also bad. But mainly Ring of Honor gets hurt the most because they're no longer going to have Homicide and Austin Starr. I mean, they did have Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley as the Motor City Machine Guns, but that was just for their Chicago show only. It's also bad because when the X Division stars don't have anything to do, they really can't work anywhere without hiding it from TNA and getting in the bad books in TNA. So it's a bad thing, and they're also not going to even be featured in Ring of Honor or PWG DVDs. So that's a bad thing. It's also really bad for TNA because they could have brought in indie talent to help create them superstars. I mean, they were bringing in Delirious, they brought in Joe, Homicide, they brought in all these guys from Ring of Honor, and it would have been great. I mean, TNA could bring in Joey Ryan and do something with him. We could have Joey Ryan versus Austin Starr. I mean, whatever, it would have been good. But no, they decided not to. I thought for sure they were going to bring in the current champion right now, the big Japanese guy. I don't remember his name. Sorry, guys. Help me out for that. But you could have had him as Superstar. You could have actually had a Joe him feud or a Rhino that guy feud. It would have been awesome. But TNA decides no. And you could have brought in the Briscoes and it would have been great. Because TNA needs tag teams. They need indie tag teams. This is just a bad move. I'm pissed off about what TNA did there. Now let's shift to WWE. The main news coming out of WWE is the injuries. As I reported last week, The Undertaker was going to be dropping the belt to Mr. Kennedy. Well, that will not be happening, ladies and gentlemen, because Mr. Kennedy has pulled the same injury at a house show in Poughkeepsie, New York, and he's going to be out 5 to 7 months. And as I reported on my last video, Edge had won the title from The Undertaker last night, and it's going to be all good for SmackDown, but for Kennedy, this is a huge blow. He had a good thing going with the Money in the Bank thing, and he was going to be champion soon. So, that's just so bad for Kennedy and WWE. I mean, I like Edge, and I love him as champion, but I would like to see what Kennedy could have done as champion. I don't know. They would probably feud it in with Batista. And also on that edition of SmackDown, Mark Henry officially makes his return, and expect Mark Henry to feud with Batista. Again. For the 3rd time. So that's that for Kennedy. Hopefully he heals up well and makes a speedy return. And the last thing I want to talk about from the WWE is Rob Van Dam will likely be done with World Wrestling Entertainment after One Night Stand 3, which will be taking place in Jacksonville, Florida. Now, Rob Van Dam has obviously been pissed off with the WWE for a while. I think it came out that he was pissed off in around Christmas time, Christmas '06. So that's not good. And he has heat with one of the road agents, John Laurinaitis. I can't pronounce his last name. And apparently Van Dam's also betrayed about how Vince created the new ECW as a third brand. Like, since they created it after One Night Stand 2, which was very close to the first one. I wouldn't say it topped it, but it was very close. I thought that was going to be ECW, the brand, for a while, but no, Vince decided to piss on it and destroy the legacy. So that's that, and Van Dam's also pissed off about the limiting of the moves, not the high-risk move, not allowing Van Dam to do what Van Dam can do. So he's going to be done after that, and also the reason WWE will be doing this is so that he can still be under contract and not pull a Kurt Angle or Christian Cage and just show up on TNA. So that's that too. And Van Dam, when the time off, will be making money signing autographs. Who doesn't want Rob Van Dam's autograph? So, this is my little quick vid on the wrestling news that concern me. This has been In the Squared Circle with the Dirty White Boy. Well, by the way, Real Wrestling Guru, fuck you.